So I thought I would do like an hour live stream, mostly for myself, just to look back on, but just going through every pair and just, yeah, putting lines in the chart basically. But for my strategy, I basically start on the higher time frames and go all the way down um, to the lower time frames. And this is basically Falcon FX concepts, but I do it, yeah, just in my own kind of little way. But it's Falcon FX concepts, and I just match. So if I want to take a buy, I have to match my strategies. I have to match every single bullish pattern with one another to then take the buy or bearish pattern together. So like for this one, monthly, the weekly, the daily, 2 hour, 1 hour. But this one was a loss. Yeah, these are just ghost trades placed. That one's just a loss. But then this one I placed on. If I do monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, the 2 hour, 1 hour. And I just literally do like lines basically. I draw like a line like that, then oh, and then I just draw it above. So like to me, this is like a massive, um, like a massive bullish pattern. So that's like one confluence. Want to take a buy. So because to me, it's like where these have come down here, this has come down here. It's looking to go up. So then, yeah, because I want to take a buy, I'm then going to look for buy opportunities on smaller time frames. Yeah, and I kind of see like I can kind of see with me juicy eyeball like this kind of bullish pattern. So then I'll go down to the weekly, and you can see where we broke out of this. So again, I'm looking for buying opportunities, and I see we're in a bullish pattern there. So that's like one confluence, two confluence, and then on the daily, three confluence. And like where this came down here, it took all these people's money here, and again it's looking to go up. So then on the 4 hour, I saw where this came down. What on earth was that? Where this came down, I then see that as like I want to take a buy. I think someone's bin just flew away. Yeah, and then I then go down to like the 1 hour. But I put it around here. But like you can see where even when it comes below like here, it takes people's money. It doesn't just shoot up, it then like makes another pattern. Like everything's just a big pattern, like all over the place. Like yeah, this is a pattern here, but then also in this pattern, it formed another pattern to like confuse people. Like the whole thing is just literally zigzagging all over the place. Like it's so goddamn confusing. Yeah, so I did that for 1 to 3 risk reward. Yeah. But I've had like I think my last 4 trades on my like just the trial account. I've had like 4 trades like wins in a row. So I'm just waiting for my loss. But that's the thing I'm trying to work on now. Like if I take a loss, it's just to carry on like normal. Because I feel like a lot of times before I let it get to me. This one, like even on this one, I see like this kind of pattern here. But again, I don't want to. And then I see this pattern actually here, like. So we're like at the bottom. We're at the bottom of this pattern, and at the bottom of this pattern, there's like this pattern here. But again, I want to go down the time frames to like make sure they match up. So I do that. I feel like this is like a pattern. It's like it's come down, taking their money, gone up, come down, gone up, taking their money, gone up. So that's like one confluence, and then well, I'll get rid of that actually. So yeah, the monthly came down one confluence, and the weekly, this is like a pattern, and it's also broken out of this like pattern here. So that's like another confluence, and then on the daily, it's like yeah, like yeah, this has come down taking those people's money, and then Yeah. Yeah, I didn't actually place one here, but if this was to go, but obviously it's easier to say that now in hindsight, but I would do like I always just place my stop loss like below the big pattern, and then I'll just aim for like a 1 to 3 risk reward. Because I find I do better when I just stop. Because a lot of the times I always like if I'm doing a short, like like a long. Oh, wait, oh, what have I just done? If I'm doing like a long, a lot of times I would place my stop loss like just below like the low. But I find now just like giving it a lot more room is like better. So I like, and then yeah, I just keep flicking through all the time frames to like train me eyeball up. Let's go to this one. So this one was a long because I need a drink of water. Like a massive, there's like a massive bullish pattern. Again, another weekly bullish pattern, and then in that weekly there's a daily, and then in that daily there's a 4 hour, and then it, yeah, it broke out of that. Yeah, but basically, what I what I do at the moment is as if I'm like flicking through the pairs and I see like in areas come below and taken like, yeah, it's like curved down. I then want to work out like if, because that to me that's like a buy, but I need to check with the other time frames if it like matches up. That one was a loss. Yeah, like if I saw this one like now, because like on the hour time frame I see where it's come below like a cheeky level there. I'm like, okay, that looks like a buy, but then I want to go up the time frame. So like on the monthly, I see a massive bullish pattern. Like this is like a massive bullish pattern because I'm like in my head, I'm like, okay, so there's loads of money in here over time, like kind of like how this was. Like it comes up and then takes everyone's money. It's like it has to come up and take everyone's money here. Um, so like in like years and like months, it's gonna go up. But then yeah, so I know I want to take a bias and I go to the weekly, and then on the weekly I see a pattern. It's broken out of that weekly pattern, so that's two confluences. I want to take a bias. So we're at the bottom of here, taking the money. It's come up, gone down, and now it's continuing up. Um, yeah. So then yeah, like two bullish patterns on the daily. This come below here and it formed this, and it's broken out. So it's like another bullish pattern. And then on the 4 hour, and then it broke out, and then yeah, that's why I put that growth trade on, because it just gives me that vibe as the price is looking to go up. And then yeah, I'll just like here. Oh, that one stopped me out. Cause oh yeah, because it came below here, so that would just be like a loss. But um, if I then go like weekly, daily, 4 hour, yeah, like to me this looks like if I was to place it on again to take a buy and then place like my stop loss like kind of here, and then drag that to 3%. Because as I keep bubbling on, I see like a massive oh, like big fat juicy bullish trend, and then here on the weekly within that monthly, it's broken out. So that's two confluences. And on the daily, these have come out, come down, taking the money from here. Oh, kind of like that, and then yeah, that's everything's just a pattern. Like even like here, it's come up, so it could take loads of sells, but I don't know. That one was a loss. Weekly, daily, 4 hour. I got do.
of you date a trans person?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like if I say no, I'm going to get a lot of backlash.
Well,
but I think my
just
personal
be
preference,
honest.
I would say no.
Okay, that's fine.
No.
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 Hell
Well,
no.
you're married. Me personally, I would not. My question to you guys is, would any of you object to a man not wanting to date a transgender woman?
I think everybody has their own personal preferences, and if there's one thing you're allowed to be super picky on, it's who you date. Like,
Okay.
you know, I think that's the only thing that you can 100% have free reign on. You can date who you decide.
Any?
I would completely agree with
Okay.
her. Like we talked about before, I think that everyone should have boundaries, you know, and as long as that person's upfront and honest and they can have like a adult conversation that isn't rooted in hatred, I don't think there's anything wrong with preferring somebody that isn't trans.
Okay. I have a question. So, and this has been like a thing that's gone viral on this podcast before, and it always seems to spark quite a debate. So, would you consider it to be gay for a man to date a trans woman?
Yes.
For a man to date, no, personally.
Would you categorize him as straight?
Probably, yeah. Because, what is it? Oh, sorry.
This is
Here,
like, too
Azalea.
technical.
I mean,
I just.
If you don't want to answer, that's
like,
fine.
it's
Go ahead.
just-
If you don't
I
want to
mean,
answer, that's fine. Go ahead.
I'm with Pixie. I don't think that makes them
Wouldn't-
gay at
wouldn't-
all.
SE?
I'm like, I have no
I would
clue.
prefer not to answer.
Yeah.
You-
Like
okay. Question. Does your answer change based on the stage of transition? Like, what if this is before any transition has occurred at all, but the person has come to the realization that they are transgender?
Well, I would assume that you have some level of like homosexual inclination if you're a man attracted to a person who looks and represents as a man, you know? Like if you're saying pre-transition, I would say like if you're attracted to those components of that person.
But pre-transition, if you are transgender, are you a woman?
Pre-transition, you're a woman who hasn't transitioned yet, so you're presenting as a male
What
until you
if there
transition.
hasn't? What if there hasn't been any bottom surgery?
What do you mean?
Like there's still an appendage.
So you're saying they transitioned everything, but they're bottom.
Maybe they're in the process of transitioning. Let's say fine, everything, but the.
Okay, I feel like I'm kind of confused here, so I'll just leave it in these
It
sentences.
seems really technical.
Two people that have penises, I don't care how you feel on your inside, I don't care if you dress and you wear a dress or you wear a wig, if you come together and you have sex, you're gay. And I think that is homosexual, right? So I know that people are trying, it is convoluted. So I understand why you're like, they're trying to
It's
make
a
it
hard
something
question.
else
Making my
and
head
it's in
hurt.
your head. And well, what if you feel like a woman? It's very simple. If you are a man and you are having sex with a man, irrespective of how you feel or whether or not you've mutilated your body or you've chopped something off, it doesn't make you not a man. You're a man. And two men coming together to have sex with their appendages intact obviously is homosexual sex. So
Yeah, I think you know, it's different if you're presenting completely different, because at that point, like, you know, you have men who say that they've been trapped or whatever, and I'm like, that person is straight. They literally slept with someone who was like presenting as a woman, looked like a woman, they couldn't tell. Like, I wouldn't consider that gay. But at the end of the day, like, honestly, I don't really care about people's sexual orientation that much. I feel like this is like kind of a culture war issue, and for some people culture war issues are important, but I'd rather talk like policy about something. I don't know if that makes me boring here, but
Well, I'm not sure I'm totally following, but I guess so. What is a woman?
I've answered this question before on the podcast.
Here, I can start with Azalea. Did I say your name right? I'm sorry.
No, you never
Azalea?
do, but it's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Well, so what is a woman?
I mean, I think that gender is a spectrum. I obviously know that you do not agree with me, and a lot of the conservative people here won't agree with me, but I guess it's just how you present and how you feel. I mean, I don't like to structure things that way and like make it so black and white. I think that people should represent themselves and be what they want to be, and it's nobody else's business, to be honest.
A female is somebody that has a vagina. That's what it says in the book, right? Okay, cool.
Which book? The Bible?
The health ed book.
Oh,
It
the health
says
ed
a
book.
female
But okay,
is a vagina.
Okay.
No, but what
Gender
is
and sex are two different things.
Hi,
ask everyone to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. So let's do that.
10.
Kiko, so okay, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
10.
A fat fucking 10.
A fat fucking 10?
I mean, I'm just saying what everybody in the comments is gonna say. Be like, oh yeah, she's a fat fucking 10. Be like, period.
Is there a comma somewhere in that statement?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
What was said was said.
Yeah. I said what I said, and I meant what I said.
Okay.
Period.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
10. Answer
Were
stays
you
the same.
Were you a 10 last time?
Yeah, I was a 10 last
Okay.
time.
Billy Ray.
We
should have waited till Deborah was back, but
We'll come back to her. I feel like I'm a 6.7.
Dude, why the fuck would you ever say something like that?
Physically or overall?
Oh, I'm factoring everything in.
Really?
Yes.
With everything factored in?
You know,
hold
if
on.
I were to rate it,
Hold on.
sorry.
$200.
Thank you, Martin.
Deborah, no long-term commitment, but we can make an agreement.
She's in the back.
You'll sign a NDA, grow your hair out a bit, convert away from Judaism. I'll coach you to speak a little less.
She's not even
and
here.
fly
Imagine her
you out
hearing this in the
private.
bathroom.
And you and my girlfriend can compete for my affections.
Marquavius, I'll trigger it again once she's back. So don't worry about that. Thank you, though. Go ahead, Deborah. Or sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Billy.
Deborah.
What do you feel like you could improve on
Toasty, I know
to
you
bring
ain't
you from
talking.
a 6.7 to like an 8 or 9?
I feel like my fitness is lacking.
Okay.
Okay, 1 point.
Fitness is lacking?
No, my appearance, I'm not a 10.
Fitness is
appearance-wise.
lacking?
I disagree with
Into
the
the
ratings
mic,
people
into
have-
the mic.
I'm sorry. I disagree with the ratings people have given
Do you know where
themselves.
the rating scale comes from? It's supposed to be if you line up 10 random men and you ask them, would you fuck her? And they were going to say yes or no.
Nope.
That's originally where it came
That's
from.
not how. Nope. That's not how
Okay,
that
where'd it come
works.
from? Tell me.
Well, no, I'm
rating,
being,
the
I'm
10 rating scale.
Educate me where it came from.
That's
if you
not
know,
how
if
that
you know,
works.
tell me.
Just
Tell
about
me.
it. Think about it intuitively. If a 10 is like a perfect woman, like absolutely maxed out attractiveness.
10 is supposed to be on physical. It's supposed to be on physical attraction
So if we're
only.
talking,
We're not
if we're
supposed to talk
talking
about
physical
personality.
attraction, yeah.
Yes.
If we're talking just physical attraction, 10 is like the most attractive woman you could possibly imagine.
Yes, it's 10 out of 10 for a
anything-
reason because you're lining up 10 and you're counting how many points are you getting. That's why.
What
it's,
do you mean you're lining up 10? Where
Like
does
you're
lining
supposed
up
to-
10
you're
women
spo-
come into this?
No, I'm saying 10 men, like, or opposite gender of you. I mean, opposite gender of you. You're supposed to be. It's the point is.
You tracking with this?
Deborah, you got to
Where did it come from then? Tell me where it came from.
It's like okay, what are you like? If you're a 5, then you're like very like average.
Yes.
If you're like an 8,
because
then
5
you're
out of
like-
10 people would be with you.
No, that's not what that's not what it is.
No, I'm
It's
just
not-
sa-
it's
I'm
not
saying
how
on
many
a-
people would be with you. It's not how many people would be with you. It's like 10 is physical perfection.
Yes, I
Wait,
understand that.
okay.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Not because 10 guys would sleep with you. Like you could have a girl who's like a 7 and 10 guys would all sleep with her. But that doesn't mean that she's a 10.
Yeah,
like, in
I
terms
didn't
of-
factor in
Thank you, Flan Life.
who would sleep with me in my rating.
We're,
Yeah, no,
we're
it's
talking
not-
about off of attractiveness.
It's not about how many men would sleep with you.
Okay, thank you. We're talking about attractiveness. You truly believe on a skill base that you're a 6.9.
She said 6.7.
6.7, yeah.
That honestly would make you a 6 in my eyes because it's your confidence level. You're
No, but it's
you're
humility.
doubting
Wait, you
yourself.
just
for
looked.
no
You said
reason.
it's purely
just
based
looks.
on physical attraction.
know.
You're saying her humility
Eric,
brings her down?
It's a fucking
Hold
joke.
on, guys.
It was a joke.
Ad
It was a
block is.
joke.
You gotta
Thank you.
close that.
And I was talking
Yep.
to her.
The audience
F11.
still see us?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
No, compared to all of the women in
W
the
ad
world,
block in
I'm
the
rating
chat.
myself on that scale. Me compared to every
Yeah.
woman in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be the same if you said you're a perfect 10, that people are always going to hate.
I
So
think
may
it's-
as well just go
Okay,
with what
wait,
you
so-
Delusional.
truly believe.
Kiko, going back
you
to
know?
this whole, if you lined up 10 people and if they all wanted to sleep with you, that makes you a 10.
Okay, so they all found you attractive. I was just going.
Yeah,
off
but
of
that's a
like-
binary. Yes or no. Are they attractive? However, there's
Yes.
degrees to attractiveness.
Exactly. That's why it's supposed to be like 10 random people, like maybe from all over the world, like not just 10 people from San
That's
Francisco or just
bad.
10 people from LA. That's
I've
the way
never
to.
heard this.
Yeah, I've never heard that
Look it
either.
up.
That's not.
Okay, well, that's not what we mean.
Google, where you look up anything else. Bing, if you use that still, Yahoo.
Okay,
No,
Options.
it's like this.
It's
like this. If
degrees.
the hottest possible Victoria's Secret model, just
it's-
physical. Hold on, just physical perfection is a 10. How might you compare yourself to her? Do you think
10.
you think you're like the most attractive specimen that's ever walked this earth?
I wouldn't say there's.
On
There's
par.
not. Is there not people
on
who are
par with the most attractive
Can I
specimens
answer?
that have ever walked this earth?
Can I answer?
We give you permission.
Thank you. I mean, he's like keeps shooting things at me and hasn't really let me respond.
Just
Sorry.
go ahead.
Yes, but that's saying that there's only one 10 in the world. There's not only one 10. There's
no.
multiple 10s in the world.
That's not.
And
That's
I'm
not what
I'm
I'm
up.
saying.
Yeah, I'm saying yes.
The
I
TikTok
will
has
kill
got
myself.
into your brain, Kiko.
I don't use TikTok really.
You have a TikTok called Rage Quit Kiko.
I know, but I just made that. I have like 900 followers. So
Yeah,
how
you're
is 900
famous.
followers getting
You're
to my head?
famous, Kiko.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, that I've never heard that. I wish
Look
you
it
had
up.
explained that before, but that's not how you define what
That's
a 10
it right
is.
there. Sean Mays.
Thank
10,
you.
perfect.
Thank you,
9,
Sean.
very beautiful. 8, beautiful. 7, very pretty. Slash handsome.
So
6,
you're
6, pretty handsome. 5, average. 4, below average. 3, unattractive. 2, very unattractive. 1, hideous. Rate accordingly. Hashtag Christ is Lord. Let's go.
10.
So you think you're like physical
Billy, you're not a
perfection?
6.7. All things
Kiko,
considered.
you're a 10 in delusion.
You don't want me to tell what you are, Brian.
That's right.
Well, I don't think
That's
I'm
right.
a 10.
I know that. I would hope not, but that's not
I
what
don't
I'm
think-
saying. I mean, overall, you don't want me to tell you what you are.
So I heard I got a super chat while I was gone.
Yeah.
Wait, before we get to
Get
that,
back read my
super
chat.
before we
I
get
want
to
it
that,
to be about me.
we were rating.
No, we are. Yeah.
We're gonna
doing
make
the
it about
rating.
you. We're rating ourselves on physical attractiveness.
Oh,
What
okay.
would you give yourself out of 10?
Oh, I don't know if I want it to be about me anymore.
Just answer honestly.
Purely physical.
They
attractiveness.
like
Purely
almost
physical?
almost all of them on that side gave themselves 10s.
Yeah, I'd say like 8.8 because like there's always more beautiful people in the world, but like I know.
Is that a reference?
Are you asking me that because I'm Jewish? Because you.
No, but 8.8. This is all right.
818 is Kendall Jenner's horrible tequila.
Bro, do you
But-
think you think a Jew is making a Hitler reference on your show?
Yeah, seriously. I
Jews
told
make
you that before I sat
Hitler
down.
joke. Jews get the pass to make the Hitler joke.
But we
Then
don't.
why are you so offended?
You got your third
If she
Jewish or
has a pass,
something?
why are you so offended?
I'm not offended. What do you mean?
You sounded pretty offended. Is that a Hitler reference?
No, I wasn't offended.
Okay.
Why was I?
Were you excited?
No, I was making a joke.
Okay.
It was a joke.
8.8.
God damn.
I don't know. I think there is an objective attractiveness for people, and I think a lot of that is like the beauty standard. Actually, because I wasn't here for the beginning part, a lot of it comes from the golden ratio. People
Yes.
whose face is the golden ratio and they're
Yep.
symmetrical, that is what attractiveness is.
Yep.
That's why when we see things, we're like, that's aesthetic. It's aesthetic to everyone because
Face.
there's certain things that are pleasing to the eye, like having matching face, a strong jawline, things that's what makes things beautiful. Golden ratio
Yep.
goes
Yep.
back to like ancient days.
Yep.
So I think in that sense, I have some of those things, but also like, I don't know who I could name as a perfect 10 because for me at least,
It's objective.
It's hard with looks because I think like if you're an ugly person, you could be so hot, but I will see you as a 1 because if you're a bad person, it's hard. That's why like with the person who's like when someone opens their mouth, they drop 10 notches and like I am a lot about who you are on the inside also determines how I feel about you on the outside.
Yes, this is very true. Also, respect for being an aesthetics respecter. And the golden ratio reference, that is what underlies
but
true
that- yeah.
beauty. Beauty is objective in my opinion.
That's how they built all the beautiful ancient ruins by using that ratio. So if it's still beautiful us nowadays, I think it will stand the test of time in the
Symmetry
way
and
body
proportion.
positivity
Chase,
will not.
are
Which
any
guy taught you
girls?
all
Chase,
this?
are any girls at this table a 10?
No.
Okay, what do you have to say
My
about
dad.
that?
I thought we were rating ourselves factoring
Looks.
like.
It's just looks.
I feel like I'd have a different answer if we
What?
were just saying just
That
looks.
that was the question.
See, and I'm the opposite. I don't have a different answer if it was overall.
When they ask like
You'd
rate
be
yourself
lower
out of
if it
10,
was
I wasn't
overall?
thinking like just looks, just like yourself, like as a person.
Yeah, no,
too.
you're just your physical appearance.
Do you want me to re-answer?
Yeah.
I would say like 7.
Oh, okay, all right. What about for you? Still 10?
Not just a 10, a fat
Hey,
effing
she's a
10.
baddie all around. Baddies it's a full-time job.
Certified.
Certified.
I still think I'm a
Licensed.
fucking certified baddie 10, whatever. But like, I'm also not gonna come for anybody who has a preference. Like, it is what it is. Like in some people's eyes, I'm probably like a 1. In some people's eyes, I'm a fat fucking 10. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still a fucking
Is there a
10.
comma
I'm
in that
know.
sentence? Okay.
I feel like no one would date someone they didn't think was or at least marry someone that they
Yeah.
didn't think was a 10 because like why would you want to be with someone that you're like I could find hotter?
But don't you think it is delusional to consider yourself a 10 For those of you who rated yourselves a 10,
No.
No.
whether in appearance or total package.
I don't think it's like
I think it's
thinking that you're the
completely
perfect
delusional.
person, but just being like confident.
Dude, any person who says I am a 10 is basically saying I have zero room for improvement. I'm perfect.
That's
the way
not what
that
I
am.
said. I said
10
That's
is
what I
perfect.
hear, though.
Okay, but
that's what I hear,
I let
and I
myself
think it's
1.2
delusional.
for
But
improvement.
this is what he just when she said that, I clarified if we would ask about our overall personality person as we are as a whole, I wouldn't give myself as a 10. But as attraction level, yeah, I'm peak athleticism, I'm pretty symmetric face. I would give myself a 10 right now. I'm not
Your peak
I can't-
athleticism?
Peak.
What's your 40-yard dash?
Yeah, what's your 40-yard
How many
dash?
pull-ups can you do?
How would you word it
Peak
better,
fitness?
Sam? Peak fitness. I'm almost at my peak fitness. Not yet.
I would
but-
say so.
Yeah, so I would give myself a 10 in that way. I'm not improving because you're just saying, oh, you're saying you can't be better. Yeah, I can improve maybe my personality, things about me, but far as looks wise, there's not much improvement that's happening unless I get some outside help.
You talking about plastic surgery?
I would not get plastic surgery.
I think I've only gotten hotter with time. I'm
You
just
think
going
I
to
would
be
get
honest.
plastic surgery, Brian? Wait, Brian, you think I would get
Aging
plastic
like
surgery?
fine wine. What can I say?
You think I would get plastic surgery? What would I change? What would I change about myself?
I think we should move on. I think we should.
I think we shouldn't. I think we shouldn't.
Let's get
Let's read Deborah's super chat.
I want to know, Sam, what would you rate yourself physically out of 10?
Physically out of 10, because I'm like 5'8", I'm like a 5. I think I have a handsome face. It's like a 7, but because I'm so sure I should just join the circus, I'm like a 5. However,
what would you do in the circus?
I would be the
Identify
short
as a
guy.
woman and be a bearded woman.
Yeah, but Sam, you're physically fit, right? You're like super physically fit, so doesn't that boost you up a bit?
You mean like in terms of physical attractiveness?
Yeah, you're a physically
Not only
fit
is
guy.
he physically fit, but he's a stone cold killer, bro. You
Yeah,
should see him on
you're
the
like,
jiu-jitsu
are you a
mat.
black
Honestly,
belt in jiu-jitsu?
I'm not a black
gyms.
belt, but I'm gonna be subbing some black belts this weekend, bro.
Let's go. Let's go.
But no, yeah, I would say like, physically, I would say like more like a 6. But no, you don't agree, Kiko? What am I on a 10?
No,
How do you
I'm
feel?
not gonna say that. I just think it's
Huh?
terrible to say that about yourself. I
Well,
would never want to date a man
I
who
think
calls
just because
on a platform and
realistic
called himself-
appraisal.
Yeah, it's
what
just
humility.
What
It's
is your
humility.
boyfriend
But I'm
rate
not
himself?
finished.
What is your
I don't know.
boyfriend?
He'd probably rate himself a 10, and I know he's a 10. He's fine.
Can
as
you
fuck.
text him and then go ahead?
I would say all things considered, because we're just doing physical attractiveness, but I don't want to do that because as a man, you provide value. There's so much more to a man's personality, or to a man than just how he is. I mean, I've heard from women that depending on a man's personality, his like physical frame literally changes for them when he owns who he is and when he brings the right energy. So in that sense, I would say an 8 because I'm not yet where I want to be in life, but I'm getting there.
I totally agree, and that's something that I don't know if it's just like I'm the only person in the history of the world to ever feel this way. It's probably unlikely, but I have not met any other people really close to me that have had the same experience. It's very rare for me to find a guy and be like, he's so hot, like just off the cusp, seeing him like across the room, be like, wow, that guy is like a perfect 10. I think that's half that just people are very ugly these days because they don't take care of themselves, but also I definitely am somebody that like the more I am attracted to somebody's personality, the hotter they look to me. And someone who, if I just looked at them and I was like, oh, they're a 7, if I started talking to them and found out that they were like a really great man of God, strong personality, very masculine, I'd be like, wow, in my eyes, he's a 10. And I feel like everyone should feel that way about their partner. They may have the objective looks, but when you get to know them, their total person is a 10.
Base. And that's what I was going to say to you when you said like, why would you want to date someone that's not physically a 10?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, all things considered, you have to look at their values and you have to look at everything else. Like ideally, you're not going to date anyone below like an 8, and you're going to be at that point, you're really attracted to someone who's an 8. And then working on that, you can be even more attracted to them based on how their personality is and how you complement
the
one
combination.
another.
That's what
But let me ask you something. When you look at a guy, and this is for anyone can answer, when you look at a guy, is like what makes him physically attractive kind of having a more feminine, beautiful face to you, or is it having like more of a rugged, like masculine look? Because I've seen girls look at like Timothy Chalamet and look at like these guys that look like they have defined bone structure and they're aesthetic and they have the golden ratio, but they just come off, they have like a skinny
They're
neck.
too
and
perfect that
just-
they're ugly.
They're what?
They're too perfect that they're ugly.
Hold on, let's go one by one.
I feel like
Yeah.
like teenage girls like
Yeah.
those like Timothy Chalamet like type guys. But
Softies.
once they like grow older, they like the like
More
more rugged
masculine.
masculine.
Hi, I'm Kiko.
Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay.
What? You really just want me to just rip you a fucking new one. I swear to God.
Are you like, Chase,
No.
how dare you be transphobic?
Yes, actually. What the
Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay.
What? You really just want me to just rip you a fucking new one. I swear to God.
Are you like, Chase,
No.
how dare you be transphobic?
Yes, actually. What the fuck do you mean? Yes, that was
Because
so
if I
unnecessary.
had sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man, and I don't want to do that.
The question is, that's not what you said, though. That's fine. If that's
Because
what
I'd
you
be
want to say.
gay if I had sex
That's
with a
not
biological
gay.
man.
That's not gay.
That's
And
gay.
I don't care if you're doing this for like whatever, but like shut the fuck up. Actually,
I'm doing
you
it
look
for
like you
what-
have a
you need
lead
to respect
no,
his
that's
street
that's too far.
identity.
That's
Why
too
don't you
fucking
Why don't
far.
you make me
That's
shut
too
the fuck up? Because I have an opinion that differs from yours.
She's right. I mean, that's really
But
hateful,
she's
bro.
not. She's not. It would technically be homosexual. A trans woman is a biological man.
I want to
Sue me.
meet you. Dude, that's mean. I also gotta go.
It's
I gotta
not
go.
fucked up. It's real. It's true.
Okay, if you guys want to
It's
respect
factual.
gender identities, that's his though. That's his sexuality.
I'm not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say that.
Yes, from a biological woman who doesn't even have any trans friends, that was too fucking far. A man of God who doesn't judge a Christian, yeah.
Yeah, you know what God said? It said He made them man and women. He made them man and
He
women.
actually said
I just
man,
told you
woman,
I'm not
and
gay. I'll
them.
pass on that. Thanks, though.
So.
No, he said
You
God,
didn't take
God
your
created
own
man,
advice.
both male and female created he them.
Stating
So
biological
them. So there's
facts would
them.
make
Say
people
them.
walk off the show.
No, the them refers to the men and the women.
No, but he
man is
said
the,
them,
the gender
so
neutral
it's
word.
like they, them.
Well, he's referring to both of them.
But he said them, so he's like saying man created men and women in them. So he
No,
admitted
he
to
said in the beginning God created man, both male and female created he them.
them.
These are the
Them.
types
So
of
while
man.
other
Them.
countries
Right.
are planning
Male and
to
female.
invade us with
Right.
debating they them the
You,
whole
I mean,
thing.
you when you refer to multiple people, you say them, right?
Or you could be referring to they thems.
It's English.
They thems don't exist. I hate to break it to
I've
you.
met some. It's crazy. You,
No,
you
you've
wouldn't
met
believe me.
very confused men and sometimes very confed women, but you have never met an
Most
actual
non-binary people I meet are women, not men.
Yeah.
Just gonna put that
man.
out
Really?
there.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because they don't have to face the consequences of all their friends being jackasses. A woman coming out as non-binary probably will have a friend group that will accept her more than
a man.
a
Yep.
man
Coming out
as non-binary.
Oh, I thought you were saying the women get into this stuff because they're really messed up or something more than the men are, but you're saying that this is a real category of being and it's just the men are afraid to admit it. You can't seriously believe that.
I do believe there's people who are, I don't know if it's ambiguous or what it is. There's people who were born in their wrong gender. There's people who are born and they don't feel like they fit in either box. Do I think people are born that believe they're cats and stuff? No. I don't believe that shit. No.
There are
Do I
people who
believe-
think that, though.
I'm saying no, I don't. I'm not saying that's correct, but I haven't seen anything to back that up. But I just,
So
the fact that you guys, in anyone's right mind would somebody go from, like Bruce Jenner, for example, or Caitlyn Jenner now, for example.
Did you just
Successful-
dead name?
Successful athlete, Olympian, whatever, all this
Guy in
stuff.
the Wheaties box.
Was married to Kris Jenner, had life of whatever. Unless she truly believed that and felt that deep inside of her core, she ultimately ruined her life for basically a whole decade.
No, he became much more relevant and famous than he was.
I
previously.
highly
Obviously,
disagree.
he was on magazine covers.
Well,
Everybody
he
was
got
talking
way
about him.
more
We're talking
She's
about
been
him.
on magazine covers. She's an Olympian. That's not. She's
But
not
he had-
on. She's not on.
He was an
covers
Olympian
'cause
many
she's
decades
trans.
ago. No,
but exactly.
he was on a magazine cover for the first time in decades.
But
because
after
he
she
pretended
came
to be a woman.
out as transgender, she got way more hate.
Exactly.
And she got
The only thing
ruined
worse than being talked
relationships.
about is not being
But
talked
she probably
about. That's
made
how show
more
business
money.
works.
But no, she.
Okay,
she
so
lost a
take
lot of
away. Okay,
relationships.
But the
sorry.
reason he
Take
did
away
that-
Caitlyn Jenner.
do you know why?
Okay, no, hold on. Put on your basic day-to-day person. Okay, you're not gonna like this one. Okay. No, not you. You, for example, okay? There's people like you who are super conservative, right in their
Handsome.
views and stuff, and then
Charming.
They wake up and they want to be a woman.
but is it because they just woke up and want to be a woman, or is it because they finally found the courage to
Well, maybe
come out
there's
with something
probably-
they've been suppressing their whole lives? I just don't understand why you guys think somebody would risk. Like, yes, some people can benefit from coming out as trans, but most people do not benefit from that. So why would somebody risk their whole livelihood, not even just career, but literally especially black
Because they
trans
have a
people?
sexual fetish. 'Cause they have a
Also, why
disordered
does it
sexual
bother
desire.
you?
I think
I
it's
feel like
just
why
so
does it bother
complex.
people?
Because it isn't true.
But why does it
Like,
bother
why
you?
is
It's
that?
not
Yeah.
harming you. It's not hurting anyone.
Well, it
like,
is harming
they're just-
society.
So
a
do
lot.
you
I
go
mean,
around? Do you go
How?
around fighting
Because-
people who think the world's flat? Do you go around
You're like
fighting
you're
them?
harming society.
No, well, because in the case of transgenderism and this ridiculous idea that men can secretly be women and vice versa, there are very practical effects that we see. Like, for instance, if
It's
we
pushed
accept
onto
this,
children.
Yeah, well, it's obvious it's pushed onto children. We're castrating children left and right, which is insane. But also, if we accept transgenderism at all, even for one single adult person, that means that certain things will change in society. Women don't get to
Maybe
have their own
things
bathrooms
need to
anymore.
change.
Women don't get to have, well, perhaps, but at least one could have the debate. Women don't get to have their own bathrooms. Women don't get to have their own sports teams. Women don't get to have their own specific rights and places in society. Protections in civil rights law, they lose that because some men can say that they're women. And so it seems to me the obvious question to ask is not, well, what does it matter to you? Who really cares? First of all, the people pushing this seem to care a lot. But the question to ask is it true? Are these men who say that they're women actually women? Or are they men who are confused or who have weird sexual fetishes or have disordered desires?
Gender-wise, they
Obviously,
are.
it's the
Biologically, they're not. So
What's
gender.
the difference?
There's the difference is like science, and then the other difference is like how you feel in your head and the way you are in society. There's a huge difference. The difference is like the chromosomes and then your mentality.
Okay, so if
That's
there's
the
a
point.
disagreement between what you're saying is your physical self and your emotional self, your
Yes.
psychological self, then why would you not just change your mind? If the options are chop up your body to make go through gruesome surgeries that
If
are
you're
going to probably
living with
shorten
your mind
life,
for your whole life and you understand like, oh, I've been trying to change it. Like she said, most people are repressing it and are trying to change it, but they just can't. So why would this is something physical that I can easily go change instead of trying to retrain your thought process over and over and over and over
But
again.
it's
It's
not
like it's
so
because they'd rather be
easy,
dead.
though.
They would rather be dead than live in the lie anymore.
But
is
the
what
problem,
it's getting to.
if you bring up like suicidality, there is no evidence that having these surgeries and pretending to be the opposite sex reduces any of that whatsoever. So that
because
people
there's always going to be
post-op-
because there's going to be dysphoria forever, especially
Yeah.
from people like you guys
So it
going
doesn't
on the
help.
internet.
No, it's from
fucking
themselves because they know that they're
bashing
living a
them
lie.
every day.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no,
my
you're
whole
not-
thing.
I'm not bashing anybody.
I'm not
No,
saying you. Okay,
you,
maybe I
but-
shouldn't say maybe Chase because my whole thing because I didn't even get to speak on the.
But what he
video
said
that
was
got played.
totally right.
Okay, so since we're gonna
Sure,
go back to
go
that,
ahead.
the video that got played, right? If you don't want to sleep with a trans woman, that is your prerogative. I don't give a fuck what you want to do. That is your preference. That does not make you transphobic at all. But to get up on a podcast that has almost 4 million viewers and to say that any man who chooses to sleep with a trans woman is now taking part in homosexual gay activities, I feel like that is wrong. I feel like that is hateful. And for somebody who claims to be so religious, so God, new, born again, virgin, Christian, I think that's very hateful of you. If you want to say, I personally wouldn't do that, that's not for me, then that's your thing. Answer the question. That's how you do it. It's a step further.
Is it hateful to say that a man can't really secretly be a woman?
I'm saying it's hurtful to say that sleeping, for any man to sleep.
But the first question you have to answer is not
That's
sleeping
not,
with
but
who.
I'm talking about what happened on the podcast.
No, I know, but
I'm referring to
I'm
that.
picking up on his point. The question is, what is a trans woman? And so what Chase would say and what I would say and what everybody throughout all of human history until 5 minutes ago would say is that a trans woman is just a man who is pretending to be a woman.
So I'm the only one who thinks this in the world.
You're in the minority.
No,
Yeah.
she's
a lot
not.
of people
Yeah.
are saying it now, but you're historically speaking, yes. Statistically, 0% of people ever have thought that a man wearing
No,
a
there's
dress and a
cultures
That's
where
so
there's
incorrect.
cultures where they're
Then what about in
gender
Thailand?
not
They don't
real.
know.
What about the femboys in Thailand that
Yeah,
have
well,
existed for
they're-
decades and decades
right,
and
there-
decades and decades,
There's
and they're
this third
living.
weird thing in certain cultures, like a modern
So
culture
you don't
like Thailand.
don't erase them.
But that's-
Then you're erasing them. That's
No,
like me
but
trying to
you
erase your
are
religion.
even-
If I could be like, oh, well, there's some people who believe in this one
No,
ancient
but-
thing called the Bible.
But
Yeah,
even
some
the-
of them were in Rome with him.
But even
that
when you're talking about
erasing
when you're
a
talking
whole
about
countries.
this weird species of prostitute in Thailand,
Weird species of prostitute.
Yes,
You don't
that's what-
understand how that sounds. You know,
sounds precise.
A weird species. So now we're not human. So back to
No,
the abortion.
a species in the
I'm
technical
just
term.
saying,
Hold on,
bro, if you're
let
gonna
him
be-
let him explain. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so it's a type. So even there's this weird phenomenon in Thailand, for example, where there are these guys.
That a
who
lot
get
of
weird
American
surgeries.
men go to.
Yeah, well, they probably shouldn't do that. But the reason that is different is because it's not, those people are not saying I am really a woman. That's a weird, bizarre cultural carve out that exists in Thailand. The difference here is, and what you are saying, is that a man who puts on a dress, puts on a wig, chops his body up, calls himself a woman, is actually a woman. And I just don't see how you could believe that that is true.
So she has a vagina, shit probably fucking tighter than mine, double D racks,
Wait.
hair down to the fucking ass, looks like a woman, talks like a woman, does everything besides menstruate and can give birth. What is separating her between the woman who are infertile, who can't have birth, or a woman
No.
after menopause, or the woman who never get their period?
So physically,
Are they not women either?
Physically speaking, one, those are pretty big differences, and there are other differences too in terms of their bone density and the shape of.
Oh,
their
yeah, 'cause
skeletons
you're
or-
gonna- yeah.
But also there are the chromosomal differences, which is that that woman, as you call it, still chromosomally is a man. And then beyond that, are you actually saying that women are just their
Well,
bodies?
that's-
That a woman is nothing more than.
Are you saying a woman is just her chromosomes? She's nothing more
no,
than
no,
just her
I'm
chromosomes?
saying a woman is much more than all of that. That actually.
Me too. That's why I'm saying that.
But not just
if
chromosomes.
she feels, since
A
the
woman
day
is
she was
also a
woke up
soul,
in
is
this,
what I'm saying.
yes, and that person woke up the first day of their conscience, and since they can remember, they remember their soul being a woman or a man or whatever.
Well, that's
trapped.
usually not true. That's usually a
it's
sexual
not
fetish
true.
that
You don't
develops.
understand why
But-
it's
Everyone
Can I
feels
say
that way.
That's
No,
why.
I'm
So
just
do you believe
correcting.
people aren't gay either? Then do you believe nobody's gay and they just do it for attention
well, no,
as well?
to say I am gay means that I have an attraction to a member of the same sex.
Okay, I'm just
So-
clarifying because a lot of people who usually do this trans argument are also arguing
nobody,
that gay people don't exist
denies,
either.
Nobody denies that certain people have different sexual attractions. In fact,
People deny it all the time. Actually, they say it's a choice that they're
Oh.
choosing to do that. They're
oh,
not
well,
born that way.
they're certainly choosing to engage in certain behaviors.
But
yeah, that's true.
choosing to engage because it's your biological driven.
No, you
duty.
can suppress your own desires. I have all sorts of desires that I repress.
Yes, you can suppress
I wanna
your own
go- I wanna go
desires,
eat a
but
cookie
why
right now.
should
I wanna
somebody?
go get a delicious hard seltzer? But I'm
Yes,
not
you can
gonna do
express
that.
your own desires, but why should somebody have to suppress if it's two legal consenting adults? Why should somebody have to suppress that just because they're the
Because
same
we
gender?
have obligations to reality and to the truth.
What's the reality? The reality is we should be a man and a woman. That's the reality.
The reality is that a man in a dress is not a man, or is not a woman.
Okay, but
rather.
now I was trying to get away from
this
something
is,
else.
This is why the whole
Go
thing
ahead,
the whole
Sam.
thing goes back to where it's called transgender and not trans sex. Like it's you can't change your sex. To the down to the bottom of it, your chromosomes are going to be your chromosomes, but
Right.
they're
Into the
changing
mic, into the
their
mic.
gender. And gender is a man-made thing. It's something that we've created. We've created genders and gender roles in our society. We did not create sex. Yes, there's men and female. That goes back to science or God, whatever you would like to say.
if gender is man-made, then you're saying it's artificial. It's not real.
It's not real.
Oh, okay. So then who cares?
Exactly. So why do you care?
Oh, well, if it's not real, then the trans woman is just a man.
For
'Cause
you,
you said-
maybe.
'cause you
but
said
for
the gender's not
her,
real.
she's a woman,
But
and
I
that's
think
fine.
gender is
And I
real.
don't think it should bother you, and I don't think it should get all these little incel men
Whoa,
angry
whoa,
about it.
You don't, do you not think? I mean,
Okay, I think the issue is that this whole conversation it makes the male role, right? It kind of creates the more. I don't know. I just think the whole argument about gender it's so pushed out into our society. I don't think it's like this in the rest of the world right now. There's
Right.
so many other issues like the whole
rest of the world
60
knows what
like
men
the
and women are.
62 different genders.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane. I mean, I don't want to, I'm not hateful towards anyone. I think as long as you're a good person, you can do whatever you want. I just don't like that it's pushed onto children because like a lot of people that are getting these surgeries, they regret it. And then a lot of children that are put onto hormones, it really messes with your...
And also,
Well, there's a lot of
obviously,
things
this is
recently
this
too.
is something
I'm
that
sure
is
it is,
brand
but-
new to our society, and there needs to be a lot of more research done and more understanding about it, and like there needs to be laws done. So I understand. I don't think kids should be getting their parts change.
But I guess my question
They
is,
can't.
what?
They have to be 18. That's already in place.
No, that's not
You
true.
know
The
that-
transition process can start much younger than that. and
Hormones,
currently-
yes, but they
and
in
obviously puberty
America,
blockers and-
yeah, but in America you cannot
And a
get
social
surgery before the age of 18.
Yeah, but
Legally,
they can put you on
you can
some
at certain
hormones.
points, but-
legally, you cannot get surgery.
Yeah,
They can
because the laws
take-
are somewhat ambiguous.
They,
so
they
it-
can cut your
Yeah.
breast
Yeah,
off.
they can,
But like I used to teach a lot, and just from experience, and I don't know much, so I don't want to like say too
no,
much.
you're right
but-
about almost everything. I'm very impressed
and
with how
like
right
right
you are
and
about
wrong,
many
like
things.
I don't, don't tell me like
Oh, I'm telling you, I don't care. You can tell me no, but you're
okay,
right about these
so I used
basic
to
things
teach a
like
lot
gender
of
roles.
kids,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of kids I noticed that have a lot of these gender issues, and then they wear their gender on their sleeve, and then they're like, I'm gay, or like
Yeah.
they're like they tend to have depression. They're very like, I feel like they need support and help, not just in the gender department where people are pushing them, oh, maybe you should be gay, or maybe you should do this. Like, there's much more.
I had a girl come up to me. I was giving a speech, and she said, "Hey, Michael, thanks for speaking out on the transgender thing because I had gender dysphoria." And she was young. I mean, this girl was a teenager, and she said, "I had gender dysphoria, and my psychologists were starting to push me down this path of transition."
Like, that's wrong.
But-
I believe that's wrong.
Well, she said, "Luckily, I had good parents and a good priest, and they said you're not actually a boy." And guess what happened? She kept going to see psychologists. They figured out that actually she had undiagnosed autism. So they started treating her autism, and what do you know? Her gender dysphoria greatly abated. Now it's basically
It all starts. It goes back to good family. I
Exactly,
guess,
and because I've been teaching in San Francisco since 2016, so I've seen a lot of how that affects kids. I teach kids all the way from TK through high school. So yes, there is definitely a correlation between the two, but it's typically because those kids, depression can be something that's brought onto you from your environment, or it could be something that's just a chemical imbalance in your brain. It doesn't have to be from a situation.
The
Hold on, let me
chemical
finish this thought
imbalance is
before I
kind of
forget.
debunked,
But usually, a lot of these times is why there's this correlation is because they find that the LGBTQ community or whatever is more accepting. So they think, oh, just because my friends that I choose to hang out with are gay and stuff means I must be. Yes, that's a problem. Yes, they shouldn't be able to just now go to their therapist and say, I want to now change my hormones for sure. That's why I don't, in that situation it was a priest, but in a lot of cases it's usually another therapist intervention. I'm sure you can, in some places it's easy, but I don't have any trans friends personally, but I've watched a lot of experiences online. It is not easy to just go through these surgeries. You have to get documents from family, friends, therapists, psychiatrists, everything. It's not just you wake up one day and say, okay, I'm a boy. They're going to give you hormones. They're going to chop off and do this.
Well,
That's not how it works.
I talked to a girl who that is actually exactly what happened. She walked into a Planned Parenthood. She said she had gender dysphoria and she wanted to receive testosterone. And she was able to receive that prescription very quickly.
Testosterone and hormones, it's a lot easier because, well, unless you're prepubescent, most of the things, not all of them are reversible because, like, especially testosterone, it's not all reversible.
Yeah.
But with those things, I could see how it is easier because it is a hormone, because just how those things are given out for other situations besides just trans.
But the problem, I guess, is this, which is if you really believe, as you say, that for some people are faking it, right? And some people think they're a cat, and they're not. Obviously, they're not a cat. But for some people, I don't know who these people are. There are really men who are secretly somehow women, and therefore they should transition to become women. So the question is, at what point were they the wrong sex? It's from the moment of birth, right? They were born that way. So if they were born that way, then why wouldn't we trans the kids?
Because that's the whole thing is, how can a child be so certain? They have to grow into those emotions and feelings.
I thought they knew you just said they knew from the
because
earliest
yes,
moments.
they've known from the beginning that something was wrong. That's usually what it is. They know something's wrong, that they're not fitting. Like, for example, it's
but
not.
sometimes they grow out of it.
Well,
I really don't think people grow out of it. I think they're
A
either
lot of it is
conditioned to
psychological.
not do it, or they realize the other way might be easier,
or that there's
and
a
then there are people
different
who are
problem.
faking it. Yeah.
For a lot of people who suffer gender dysphoria, or used to be called gender identity disorder, the vast majority of teenagers who suffer that will grow out of it. Within a few years, that gender dysphoria will go away. For some smaller percentage, that dysphoria persists. And
I think
they
you're
have to deal with
confusing
it
maybe
later.
gender dysphoria, or not just you, but these stats and people who report back are confusing sometimes gender dysphoria versus not feeling like, I don't know, a woman when you're growing up, or feeling like a man.
So-
That's also what people, there's so many terminology and words and buzzwords out there these days that
Maybe
people
it's
try
the
to
same
label
thing.
themselves with anything when sometimes it's just not that deep.
Wait, so Kiko, I have a question. I kind of asked this last show, and I don't think I really got a proper answer on it. So my question was, ignoring gender identity, ignoring gender, if we're just looking at sex, if two males, I'm not talking about two men, I'm talking about two males. If two males were to have sex, is that not gay? Is that not homosexual? I'm not saying it's wrong, but is that
since sexuality
is or homosexual?
I base sexuality off of gender, so I would need to know their gender and not their chromosomes.
So if you dated a guy,
question.
you were dating, or let's say you were married to this guy, he's been your husband for 10 years, and then one day he says, I'm a woman now, and you went and you engaged in that thing married couples engage in, would you say you're a lesbian now? So the husband you've been married to for 10 years?
She wouldn't be a lesbian, but maybe she's bisexual now, or maybe she's
No, but her husband is now her wife,
but
right?
I get what you're trying to get at.
Yeah,
your point you're trying to get at, and technically, yeah. I mean,
you don't
I think
believe
it's.
that,
I think it's would be ridiculous, like for people to like go out in public and not transition themselves at all and expect to be like, if you thought your pronouns were she hers, to expect people to refer to you as she her or ma'am, whatever, presenting yourself like this. Yeah, I think things like that are ridiculous.
Yeah.
There has to be some types where it says gender roles. So that's the whole reason why they're wanting to say they're transgender, is because they want to follow the other gender role, right? So follow the gender role.
So then instead, this is a great point, because this is where I differ from some of the conservatives here. A lot of the conservatives say gender expression's totally fake and sex is all that matters. And I'm kind of with you in the sense that I think gender expression obviously is real. There are feminine men, there are masculine women, all of that's true. But instead of concluding, therefore, that we have the right not only to have any gender expression we want, but actually to be the different sex and to call myself a woman or call myself a man, why didn't we take in the other direction and say, if you're a man, there's obviously diversity is the spice of life, but you have a general obligation to act like a man. And if you're a woman, you can be kind of diverse and you can be a little more tomboyish maybe or whatever, but you have a general obligation to act like a woman.